Hello, welcome all. Welcome to Hasibgen. Today I am going to discuss about very basic thermodynamic processes, thermally activated processes and the role of temperature on the process, on the rate of those processes. So I will start from basics of thermodynamics and then I will go into the details. Okay, let's start. Okay, let's take a solid consisting of capital N atoms. Now, solid means that atoms are periodically arranged. These are the N atoms. Okay, somehow one atom is missing from this solid. Let's take this particular atom that is missing from the solid. Okay, so this is called the vacancy. Or there can be an atom that is positioned in the interstitial site. At this site, there is an atom. So this is called interstitial atom. Now, in a solid of n atoms, when there is vacancy or interstitial atom, then it gives rise some sort of entropy. This is called configurational entropy. Now, if you carefully observe this vacancy or interstitial atom, you can see these are not fixed at a particular position or site. So this vacancy could be placed here also at this site, at this site. So there are different configuration for a particular vacancy or interstitial atom, and it raises this type of entropy, configurational entropy. The formula for this configuration entropy is S equals to Kb ln omega, where Kb is the Boltzmann constant and omega is the total number of configurations. Okay. So now if you have a total number of n sites, okay, let's take an example. If you have total number of n sites and out of them small n is the number of vacancy, then this omega should be capital N Cn. This is the number of configuration in which this small n vacancy can be distributed in these n sites. Now put it this omega in this expression and you will get the value of the entropy. This is the configurational entropy. Now write down the equation 1 again. S equal to Kb ln omega. If the sample we considered before is a pure solid, that means there is no defect present in the form of vacancy or interstitial or any other defects. All the atoms are periodically positioned at the sites. Then this omega is 1. There is only one possibility, and this is the possibility by which these atoms are distributed. So omega equals to 1 and this entropy is 0. So uh, so whether the total entropy is 0 or not. Actually, this is the one contribution of entropy. There is another contribution of entropy that is called thermal entropy, and that depends on the temperature of the system. So at T equal to 0, all the atoms are positioned at their lattice sites. Okay, and they are basically freezed. If you provide heat energy, thermal energy to the system, then thermal energy. Now, if you provide heat energy, thermal energy to the system, if you raise the temperature of this material, then this atom at this lattice site, they will vibrate about their mean position. So if it is the mean position of this atom uh, at x equal to 0, it will vibrate, and it will vibrate with certain amplitude and frequency. Now if you raise the temperature of the material, then this vibration amplitude will increase. Okay, and the frequency will also increase. So so this vibration amplitude, this indicates what is the energy of these atoms vibrating. So we can rephrase it: as we increase the temperature, the vibration of the material, the vibration of the atoms in the material increases, and that's why that entropy, the thermal entropy, that increases. Now, if we change the state of this material, suppose you convert it from solid state, this is in solid state, to liquid state, then what will happen? In liquid state, it will not have a certain boundary. I am just showing this. Suppose take it as a container. Now these atoms will move randomly. Okay, so it will be positioned randomly. There may be some short periodicity, short range order, but overall the atoms are not periodic. So here the disorderness increases, that means entropy increases. So the thermal entropy, so at the same temperature, the thermal entropy of liquid is more than the thermal entropy of solid. Thermal entropy of liquid is greater than thermal entropy of solid, because this randomness increases, and entropy is basically the parameter of randomness. Now let's talk about the role of entropy, what basically it is. So if a thermodynamic system or material has some energy, internal energy or total energy, whatever that, okay, this is the total energy. And we know that from thermodynamics first law that we can convert this energy from one form to another. Okay, so let's we want to convert this total energy to work. Work is another form of energy. So basically we can convert from total energy to work. Then you can follow that you can't convert this total energy to work. Okay, so there is another thermodynamic term that is called free energy. That is U minus Ts, where U is the total energy, T is the temperature of the material or specimen or the system, and S is the entropy. That entropy we are talking about before. So if U is the total energy available in the material in the system, we can't convert this total energy to work, and basically due to this randomness we can't use the total energy to be used for work. Now from the second law of thermodynamics we can define this entropy, small change in entropy, infinitesimal change, ds equals to dq upon t. Constant pressure is written as cp dt upon t, or at constant volume it can be written as cv dt upon t. So here we write down the dq in terms of cp and or dq in terms of cvdt. So from this expression, from this relation, we can calculate the entropy at 0 Kelvin. So entropy at 0 Kelvin. So the upper limit, if you put T equal to 0 Kelvin, then entropy will be 0. Okay, so what is the physical meaning of this? That entropy of a material is 0 at 0 Kelvin. This is at 0 Kelvin. So whenever there is no thermal energy, all the atoms are at their respective lattice sites and they are freeze. There is no randomness, so we can consider that entropy is 0. We can compare this thermal entropy with the configurational entropy and make a good conclusion. So thermal entropy and configurational entropy. Configurational entropy, it talks about distribution in different configuration and configuration. And thermal energy, it is also distribution of something, and that is very important for this whole session, for whole discussion. That is the distribution of the thermal energy distribution. Now let's understand what is distribution of this thermal energy and why it is needed. What is the implication? For a solid at temperature T, an atom inside it can vibrate in three different directions, uh, X, Y, and Z, and these are the three modes. Okay, so three modes of oscillation or vibration, and each mode corresponds to kBT, thermal energy, and that we know from the equipartition of thermal energy. So if there are n atoms inside this solid, so for each mode the total energy is n kBT, and if there is Avogadro number of atom, so this is the Boltzmann constant, this is Na Avogadro, and so it will be finally, and these two combines to R gas constant and RT. So this is the thermal energy for this whole material containing the Avogadro number of atoms or 1 mole. Now, if we calculate the average thermal, now if we calculate the average thermal energy of a mode of an atom, it will come out as kBT 25 millielectron volt. Now, to understand the effect of the thermal energy in the thermodynamic processes, we need to consider an example. So let's take an example of chemical reaction. Chemical reaction. So let's take there is an atom A, there is a not atom, there is an element A and there is a molecule BC and they react and finally they create a product AB plus C. So this is some sort of substitution reaction. I don't know exact this this is a some sort of substitution reaction. I don't know exactly the nature of this reaction. So, but one thing is obvious that A plus B has certain free energy and AB plus C has certain energy. So, if this is a axis of energy axis, potential energy, then to proceed this reaction in forward direction, this the Gibbs free energy chain should be negative. So the final product's free energy is minimum, is lower than the initial free energy. Okay, it's decreases. Now Bc is a molecule, so it has some bond, and uh, A is replacing C and forming that AB. That means that this bond is broken and A is making a bond with B. So this is not happening in a single stage. So some complex state is there, ABC, and it has more energy compared to this initial product and final product. So the energy profile looks like this. And as this is a extremum point, so this is a basically metastable state, and we can say there is an energy barrier here. So this energy barrier is called the activation energy, or sometime it is called the enthalpy of formation. Now the initial reagents have to overcome this energy barrier to reach this energy state, and then it will be easy for them to reach to the final state because the energy landscape is downward. The slope the energy landscape is downward. Now rate of any equation is related to temperature and this activation energy barrier. uh, it is related according to the Arrhenius relation. Arrhenius relation. If the rate is denoted by R, then it is R equal to A exponential minus Q upon T. Here Q is the activation energy and T is the temperature. So from this equation you can observe that as we increase the activation energy Q, then Art decreases. So it's obvious. So if the energy barrier is larger, then it will be difficult for the initial reagent to surmount this energy barrier and to get the final products. So this is one thing. And if you increase the temperature, then rate will be increased. If you increase the temperature, then rate will be increased. People who do reaction can observe the reaction rate, and they see that at initially that rate is very small when the temperature is low, and with increasing the temperature the rate has increased. So uh, let's take log of this equation, and it will be log r equals to log a minus q upon t. Now if we plot it, now if we plot it, taking log r at the y-axis and 1 upon t at the x-axis, we'll find a straight line with a intercept as a log a, and the slope will be mm, minus q upon r. Oh, I have a mistake. There will be a r also. Now this r is a constant, gas constant. So from the slope we can determine the energy barrier, activation energy. Now we need to understand why rate is increased. Why rate is increased with temperature. What is the role of the thermal energy? So to understand it, we have to consider that the thermal energy kBT 25 millielectron volt at room temperature. This energy is not fixed. This is not a constant energy for each of the atoms. So basically, the atoms have distribution of energies. They have vibration with different uh, amplitude, uh, and in a system, when there are 10 to the power 23 number of atoms, a large number of atoms, and we need to consider statistics to follow their energy distribution or velocity distribution. Now if we consider this atom as a gas molecules in kinetic theory, then we can use the Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics to govern their properties of velocity distribution or energy distribution. So according to Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution, it will look like, so here in the y-axis there is a fraction of atoms or molecules having certain velocity v. So this is basically the peak corresponds to the most probable velocity, and the average velocity will be near about something. We can approximate this as the average velocity. Now it can be also considered as the average energy. Okay, Now at room temperature this is 25 millielectron volt, and this type of reaction, any reaction, the energy barrier is in the range of 1 electron volt. Energy barrier is in the range of electron volt. So suppose here it is energy barrier. Now you can see from the this distribution that although it is small, but there is a finite probability of having atoms with this energy or velocity. So these portions of the distribution, the tail, that basically involve in different kinds of reactions, kinematics. This is important from that perspective. Now if we increase the temperature, then what will happen? That the peak of the distribution, it decreases the peak value, but the distribution get flattens, and at the same temperature scale the fraction increases. Okay, the more number of particles, more number of atoms are there at near about 1 electron volt, and so more number of atoms or molecules, and they can pass through the energy barrier and finally proceed to the desired result. Now we can consider an example of semiconductor, and let's see uh, how the energy distribution is relevant to that semiconductor. We know in semiconductor there is a valence band and a conduction band, and when sufficient energy is provided, the electron in the valence band, they overcome this energy barrier band gap value and reach the conduction band. Here it is a free electron and it will creates a hole in the valence band. So let's take it is silicon, and for silicon it is 1.1 electron volt, and at room temperature this electron has energy of 25 milli electron volt. So how this electron of smaller energy overcomes this large energy gap? So the answer lies in energy distribution, Maxwell-Boltzmann energy distribution. So again, this is the fraction or probability, and if we see the distribution, we can get that average energy corresponds to 25 millielectron volt, and this energy gap, that is 1.1 electron volt. So although very small, but there is a final probability of having electrons of this energy 1.1 electron volt, and they can participate in this transition. So at room temperature this is the 10 to the power 10 electrons in silicon, that is the basically intrinsic carrier in the silicon. So we have understood how this distribution, energy distribution and thermal energy relevant to the different kinematics on different processes, thermodynamic processes. So if you find it worth, please like this video. Okay, share the video, and if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. Thank you, take care.